Hey everyone. So we're back with a calmer video. The reason that I tend to upload a lot of videos when I have an axe to grind is because my thoughts are kind of very cohesive when I'm slightly irate about something. And then when I'm doing a video about like some topic that inspires me, I tend to go off on a lot of tangents, which I do anyway, but I don't want to just feed the irritation. So anyway, this is growing up in the Himalayas, part three. I'm actually not sure what number we're at. And this is called Seeing Red. So this will have some stories about meditation and my approach to meditation as a child in India, growing up in an ashram with a guru. Um, so our ashram emphasized the idea of what we called space. Space was the kind of term that was used for source, for God, for um, consciousness that infuses everything that is perceived. And usually, like the most common word that was associated with it was space, which we usually use the word shyam in Hindi or Sanskrit to describe the same thing, which is an aspect of Lord Krishna. He is an aspect of Lord Krishna, which means shyam literally means black or dark. And it is basically the color of the ether or the color of the fifth element, which can be associated with consciousness. And now it's not just black, it's specifically blue black. It is kind of like conceptualized as navy blue or a kind of dark blue. Uh, Although when you see posters of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu or Lord Rama, Lord Krishna and Lord Rama being considered aspects of Lord Vishnu, you will usually see a kind of skin tone that is like a sky blue. But this has come to be symbolized as the representation in a sort of anthropomorphic deity form of the ether or the consciousness that we meditate on when we close our eyes. Now, in our ashram, it was more kind of like Krishna-centric than Shiv-centric, which is funny considering that our ashram was actually in Shiv country. It was in the area of India where Shaivism is very prevalent, but our sort of approach was based on the Bhagavad Gita, so there was a lot more emphasis on Krishna. And we kind of came up with our own mythology or our own idea that Shyam was also a god. And the iconography of Shyam was usually, like, I grew up thinking that pictures of Lord Venkatesh, which is a South Indian god with the eyes covered, um, that was Shyam. And also pictures of Dwarkanath, which is in Dwarka, which is kind of close to Mumbai, the Lord of Portals, that was also Shyam, and also Jagannath in Puri in Orissa, that was also Shyam, which I've not found any kind of like third-party confirmation that is supposed to be Shyam per se. Usually when you encounter the name Shyam in Hindu scripture, they're just talking about the sort of basic Lord Krishna, Vrindavani Krishna, the kind of Brajbasha Krishna, the flute player, the pastoral flute player who is a kind of you could say like a love god almost. Anyway, because this was the Shyam was associated with ether in our ashram, and the space that we were meditating on, there came to be an idea formed that the color blue was emblematic of that which we were seeking. And so a lot of people wore blue, and you know, maybe a little bit more white, but quite a lot of blue, and and houses and meditation rooms and even living rooms were decorated in blue very often, especially like in the early days of the ashram, which would have been the 70s and the 80s. Blue was everywhere. And the sort of explanation for that was that when you close your eyes, you see blue or black or blue black. That's what we were told. I had a problem immediately because when I closed my eyes, I saw red. This kind of earthy red tone, and I thought there was something wrong with me because I couldn't see the blue black. And I was pestering my parents about it so much. I don't think I ever went so far as to ask the guru about the color I was seeing when I closed my eyes. But I remember this story, which was actually told to me secondhand, when the carpets in the meditation room, which actually burned down when I was like 2.5, so like in 1980 or 79, there was this meditation room that we all used, and it was kind of open all night for anyone to meditate, and then it burned down to the ground. Me and my parents went to go in the morning one day, and it was just gone. It was just cinders. But before that happens, I guess the blue carpets, the blue and cream patterned carpets had gotten a little bit manky and stained or something, and needed to be changed. And our guru ordered red carpets, just like livid red carpets everywhere, all over, like these kind of throw rugs that were, but like 10 of them, and into the meditation hall, and people were shocked. They were like, "Oh, red is the color of like violence and passion and impulse." They were a little bit sort of like taken aback that our guru would choose such a sort of what's called a rajasic color, which is like an active color. And I remember feeling like relieved hearing that story. I was probably maybe not born when that happened, but I remember hearing the story and feeling relieved, like, oh, okay, red can be spiritual. Like there were times when our guru would allow people's concepts to even become like canonical and then like really, really fixed and rigid. And then he would do something. He wouldn't say, oh, no, that's wrong. Like he wouldn't address it directly, but then he would just do something that was completely counter to what everyone was thinking. And then they'd have to sort of, they'd be scattered to the winds in their own minds, and then they'd have to kind of reform something new. Anyway, yeah. So I remember like arguing with my parents, like, well, I don't see blue black. And they were sort of, you would think they would say, well, it doesn't matter what you see, which is kind of what I would say to someone now. But they were like, no, you do, though. Yeah. It's blue black. Um, and this is kind of like, it's one of the pitfalls that every religion has fallen into over the ages, where it becomes fixated on the wrong thing. Like, whether Jesus was born of a virgin mother, became such an obsession for Catholics and Protestants, as opposed to the compassion that he was talking about. And there was so much emphasis on the origin story, and then also, what the sacrament meant. So I kind of feel like, interestingly enough, Hinduism is ready to let things go. Like I've had friends over to my house from completely different traditions, and they will argue a little bit. Like, there was an argument in my living room about the difference between a gur, which is a shaman who speaks to the gods, and then between and a pujari, which is someone who conducts rites. And evidently, in the neighboring district, they're a little bit similar, but in the district where I grew up, they're very, very different roles. And they were having this argument, my two friends, and then they were like, leave it. They were just like, bugger. Let's have a drink. Let's have food. Let's get on to a different topic. And they won't sort of fight to the death over a religious topic, which I kind of think is a skill that we all could use. And it doesn't mean that you don't pursue it and investigate it and ask questions. I think that's also good, but when when nothing at the root of the spirituality is really love. So I don't think that once it becomes contentious, it starts to lose its sacredness. I think you know just look around the world and you can see that happening. Anyway, yes. So blue ether sham. Yeah. So I kind of think that the important thing when you close your eyes is not what color you're seeing or how the particles look, or even if you can see the particles or whatever. It's the closest you can get to letting go. That sort of non-denominational state of mind, shall we say? Anyway, so that was one story of my approach to meditation and some of the background of what it means to see red. Red is the color of Durga, which is the goddess of war. And also Lakshmi, so wealth as well, and prestige. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have to say. If you have any questions, leave comments. Yeah, you can see why I don't do these very often. All right, bye.